everyone, thanks so much for joining me on step 2 of my 5-part series, Minimize Your Closet to Maximize Your Wardrobe. This series is all about how to define and manage your wardrobe and style so that it makes it easier for you when you get dressed in the morning. And so step 2 is going over all about how to clean out your closet. Now, if you haven't caught step 1 yet, if you're watching on my website, there's a button at the bottom that you can click back and look at all of the worksheets, the pictures, the quizzes, and everything that goes in determining your style, which is the first step in this process. If you're watching on YouTube, then there's a link for you to click right below here. That'll take you to my series page, and it'll show you all the steps that are happening. If you're watching this and you are not live with me here, you're not in the time frame that this series has been launched, then click on that link so that you can go to that series homepage and take this process step by step. You'll at that point be able to just do one after the other, but if you're live with me now, then we are here in March of 2018 and we are going to get down to it on how to clean out your closet. So the first step when cleaning out your closet, before we get into all the other details and the beautiful worksheets that I have set up for you, is to think about what are the reasons that I even have all these clothes. And depending on your age, it's actually going to differ what that answer is typically. And so when you're thinking about all the clothes that you have in your closet, if you're in the 20s and you're in that 20 age range, you're typically having a bunch of different pieces that you may or may not love because you're transitioning from your college style into a more professional look, a more grown-up or adult look, if you will. When you're thinking about that, you've got to realize that you've had a handful of years where you're still trying to figure out your style, and now you're on to the process of truly figuring out what your style is in your adult life, if you will. So you're gonna have a bunch of random clothes, but you're also not gonna have as much and many clothes as, let's say, a 50-year-old who's had more time to accrue things. So this process is gonna be a lot less painful and a lot less time consuming for you 20-year-olds than it will be for a 50-year-old. When we're looking at 30-year-olds, typically what's in your closet and what's overpacking it is you've got a bunch of different sizes of clothing. If you're a woman, you're transitioning probably from maternity wear or into maternity wear. Your weight's fluctuating if you're having kids, so you're going to have a couple different sizes of things. So if you're in that 30 range, and you're a woman, you've got a lot of clothes because of that. Men, you're probably transitioning a bit too. You're going from your 20s into your 30s, your body's probably changing a bit, you may not be working out the same way you did before, and your career is probably changing a bit too. So you're going into more professional things, also more functional clothing, both men and women's side, because you're probably in the kid stage now, and so you need things that are going to function a bit more for your new lifestyle. When we hit the 40s, men and women, you're looking at another transition. You're typically getting promotions in this part of your life, switching your jobs. Women, you might go from having the kids, now they're grown up, so you can focus on yourself again. And so now you're switching from that functional wardrobe into what is my style now, what actually fits me now. I'm out of maternity, I'm in kind of a stable weight zone now, and so what does my closet look like because of that? When we get into our 50s, then we are looking at, you've got a lot of clothes. You're typically in the 200 to 300 range of number of pieces in your closet, just because you've had a lot of time to accrue it and you probably haven't gotten rid of a lot. So what we're typically seeing in that style of closet is you've got a ton of pieces. Some of them you're probably keeping because you're hoping that you're going to get back into it. You might have a lot of things that are nostalgic. You wore it on your first date, or you got it as a gift, or something like that. So you've got a lot of those pieces as well. You're also now in the current business dress code climate, transitioning from wearing business professional to figuring out what is this business casual that I have to be dressing for. And so you probably have a little bit of both, where you have these suits that you may not be wearing as much, but then you've got these new dress slacks and tops or button downs, and you're kind of trying to figure out, I have all these pieces, but what the heck do I do with all this? So that's why your closet is overpacked. In general terms, like I said, when you're looking at your closet, you could have pieces from nostalgia, you could have pieces from different sizing, but we're gonna go over how to clear all that out so you only have what you need. So like I had mentioned, I've got these handy dandy worksheets. If you are watching this on my website, there's a button right below me to get the worksheets. If you're watching it on YouTube, click the link below to watch this on my website and get all the other information you need. So the first step when we're going through this worksheet, the first step to cleansing your closet, is that you need to pull out everything that you don't love, that doesn't fit you right, and that has stains or holes on it, it's worn, it's time to get rid of it. What you're gonna do after that is compare what you have left with what we did in step 1. So I told you to keep those worksheets handy, and now's the time to bring them out. You wanna look at what your style description was. What are the characteristics of that? What are the colors of that? Look at your color palette that you have. What does that look like? And I want you to compare that to what you have currently left in your closet. So are the colors matching up? If not, do you love the colors you have in there? And if you don't, then we need to get rid of that. If it's in good condition, it can go in the donate pile. If it's in bad condition, then we're gonna put it in the trash pile, because you can't donate something if it's all stained and ripped. It's just something that you'll wanna get rid of. So we'll wanna compare, on here it'll tell you to compare patterns with your style, colors with your style. You wanna make sure that the pieces that are left feel like they match with that style inspiration that you saved. So if you look at a piece and then you look back at your pictures that you saved, does that piece feel like it could be in that stack of pictures? Could that be part of your new style? And if not, then you have to determine, do you really love it enough to keep it? So that's step 2. Step 3, we want to determine the amount of variety that you like in your wardrobe. Now, this is really important because it dictates how many pieces you actually need in your closet. So the 3 ways that you can figure out what your variety is by choosing from one of these options. And the first one is, you need lots of options. You're only gonna rewear an outfit once, maybe twice a month. Some people are like that. If you are, let's say, the second option, which is you like a lot of variety, but you don't want to have too many clothes. So you'd rewear something 2 to 3 times a month. You're kind of in that middle section. The last option, which is the option I fall into, is the less is more. You'd rewear an outfit 3 to 5 times a month. You don't want that many pieces, so you're really going to pare down your wardrobe if it's not already pretty pared down. Based on the amount of variety that you choose dictates how many pieces you need in your closet. And based on that, I've made a fun little chart here so that you know, whether you're a man or a woman, roughly what that amount of pieces looks like per category. And your categories are tops, dress slacks, jeans, shoes, things like that. It's gonna break it all down for you on roughly how many pieces you'd need. So what I want you to do is look at everything you have left. You've weeded it out because you know it doesn't fit, you don't love it, or it's all stained and torn up and it's just old. You've also then taken a look, and if it doesn't match your style and the style you're going for, you're weeding that out as well. Now with the pieces you have left, you want to compare that to your categories, which is step 4. Compare what you have left to your categories and see if you're over in any categories. So let's say you're like me, your less is more. For tops, I should have 15 to 20 tops. So if I'm looking at my closet and I have 50 tops, then I know I really need to weed some of those down. Your numbers don't have to be quite exact. Let's say you have 25 or 30 tops and the max you should have is 20. That's not a big deal. It's when you've got that big drastic, I have 50 tops and I should only have 20, that you really need to be weeding down or reassessing in reality how much variety you want in your wardrobe. So when you're looking at the clothes you have left and realizing, I have too many tops or I have too many jeans, again, we're gonna kind of go back to that first process of, do you love it? If you love it, you can keep it. If you don't love it, you need to get rid of it. Is it comfortable? If it's not comfortable, you're not gonna wear it. If it doesn't fit, you might think, oh, I'll fit in it in a little bit. I'll fit in it when I lose that weight. By the time you do that, and if you do that and decide that's something you wanna do, the piece is probably gonna go out of style or be worn at that point. So you need to just get rid of it. We're gonna replace it with something better. So you'll go through that, determine what you have left, see if you need to weed anything out, and then you'll go on to figuring out what you're gonna do with the pieces. So you've got a couple options there. You can donate pieces, and I have a list in this worksheet of where are some good options for donating pieces. It could be your local church, it could be Goodwill or Salvation Army. You might have a local place here in Cleveland. We have Women's Safe that you can donate items to, and that'll go to a good cause. But one thing I have you do before you do that is take a look at these charts that I have on the worksheet, which tell you what the value is of the pieces you have. If you can mark down for yourself, I had 10 tops and they're all in good quality or they were a great brand, then you can mark off 10 tops at whatever the value is. That'll help you for tax purposes, and leaving a sheet like that in your donation bag or clipped onto your donation bag really will help the people that are volunteering and at the donation centers, because then they'll already know what's in the bag. It's saving them a step. So it's a win-win for everybody. So definitely try to do that. If you're looking at your pieces and some of them are really high-end or really good quality, great brands, you spend a ton of money on it and they're only a couple years old, then you have the opportunity to actually sell those pieces. So there are kind of a couple ways that you can go about it. There's a consignment option, you can sell online, or you can find a local store that you can get cash on the spot for your pieces. So my opinion when doing this is I prefer to do the cash on the spot option. It's instant gratification for you. You're gonna have that money that you can then go directly use to shop for new pieces, and then you've dropped it off, it's done. Consignment is definitely an option. If it's really high-end pieces, you know, you can do that. My problem, or not problem, but difficulty with consignment is that you drop it and then you gotta wait for your check whenever that piece sells. And then you forget about it, and then typically you don't get as much as you want for it. For me, I just prefer to get that cash on the spot, done, project's over. The last option, like I said, is selling online. So there are a bunch of great websites, Poshmark for one, which I had worked at previous to being able to do the Style Foundry full-time, and they're amazing. The thing to know though when you're selling online is that it takes time and effort. You've got to be on it, you've got to be responding to people, you need to be, depending on the platform, sharing it and liking and following people. And so if you have the patience and the time to do that, go for it. That could be a great option for you. If you don't have the time or the patience like me to sit and monitor it and it's another platform to deal with, then I would say that that's not a good route for you, that selling online might end up being too difficult. So that's just something to note. All that information's on the guide here. So once we've cleaned everything out, decided what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep, we're gonna donate, the last piece of the puzzle is to then reorganize your closet so that it'll be easy to go on to the next step, which is mixing and matching. So my recommendations and how I like to organize my clients' closets are by first taking all the pieces and putting whatever you are going to wear and gravitate to most often, basically depending on the style of your closet, in the middle. It's going to be in a spot that's easy for you to get. Stuff on the ends are typically going to be stuff that you're not wearing often. Maybe it's a fancier outfit for a special occasion, or it's, depending on the season, your winter or summer stuff is kind of pushed to the side. So the middle is typically where you're going to live and get the most efficiency out of your closet, because you can reach that stuff and get to it most quickly. Once you have figured out what you're going to put in that middle section, then what I like to do is group things based on their type of style or silhouette. So women, we're talking about sleeveless to short sleeve to long sleeve with your blouses. Then you can go into your dress slacks, your skirts, and then maybe your dresses. When you're doing each of those sections, you want to do them color coordinated. So what I like to do is look at my sleeveless tops, put them in color coordination like the rainbow. Then go to my short sleeves, same thing. Then go to my long sleeve, do the same thing. Do that with pants, cardigans, sweaters, the whole shebang. Men, you're gonna be looking at the same thing, you're just not gonna have as many options. So you might go polos to button downs to casual shirts to your dress pants and your suits and etc. But again, do the similar things together, and you wanna do those in color order. Another tip I have for you is to use a hanger or hangers that are this velvet and they're a slim type. When you have the consistency of in your closet of having all the same hangers, one, it's gonna make you feel good because it already looks organized, but the beauty of these hangers is they've got the velvet on them so your clothes won't slip off of them, and they're really thin. I mean, they're very thin, I'd say about the size of a quarter maybe, and so it keeps a low profile in your closet, which makes it easier for everything to fit in there without being too bulky. You can also get these where it has a little hook right here, and that hook allows you to hook multiple hangers down in a straight line. So if you're really packed in your closet, you have either a ton of pieces or you have a really small closet and you just need to free up some space, you could probably safely get about 3 down in a line, which will save you a ton of space. Only caveat with that is that it does get difficult to find pieces, get at pieces. It's definitely not ideal, but if you need a solution, that could work for you. The last thing I want to remind you that I didn't touch on before, and the biggest thing that I'm all about, which you may have known about transitioning your wardrobe, is making sure that every piece you are left with, you love it, it matches your color palette, it matches your style and the style you're going for. Just make sure that every piece can make you at least 3 outfits. And so what I mean by that is that it'll transition you from putting it with dress slacks and wearing it to work, to putting it with jeans and wearing it on the weekends for whatever activities you're doing, to putting it with a nice pair of shoes and dressing it up for a date night. If you can do that with most of your pieces, I get that there's going to be some stuff that's not going to work for, but if most of your pieces can transition like that, that is the key to being able to minimize your closet while maximizing it. So after you've done everything, you see what you've got left, just double check that. Double check that you can mix and match those pieces in multiple ways, because that'll make our next step that we go over really, really easy. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, our next video, which will be if you're watching live a week from today, if you're watching on the website or after the fact, you can just click to step 3, which is how to mix and match your wardrobe. This is where we're really going to take it up a notch and really dive into minimizing your closet and maximizing your wardrobe, and then figure out what you're missing after that. It's going to be a really fun one, so stick with me. If you have any questions, any issues with worksheets or how to fill it out for yourself, just shoot me a message, an email, Facebook message, whatever works for you, or comment if you're on YouTube, comment below. Thanks so much, guys. I'm loving sharing this series with you, and I look forward to the next one.